9 hikers, 1 mountain, no survivors. The date is 1959, the place is the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. Here, the world is vast and white. A silence hangs in the frozen air. It is a silence so deep you can feel it in your bones. Wind moves across the endless snow. It howls like a lonely animal searching for something it will never find. On a slope the locals call Kholat Syakhl, or Dead Mountain, 9 young hikers have made their camp. They are students, they are friends, full of life and a spirit for adventure. They sought a challenge. They found something else entirely. They were never seen alive again. They would cross the pass and send a telegram from a village on the other side. But that telegram never came. Days turned into weeks. Search parties were dispatched, by air and on skis. Then, on February 26th, a pilot spotted something. The tent was collapsed. It was half buried in snow. It looked like a wounded creature on the mountainside. The canvas was sliced open, cut from the inside. Inside, the searchers found the group's belongings. Boots lined up, warm coats folded, food still there. They had left behind everything they needed to survive the brutal cold. Footprints led away from the ruined tent, orderly, measured. Some were made by bare feet, others by feet wearing only socks. A few showed a single boot. 9 people had run from their only shelter into the sub-zero darkness. Why? What could possibly scare them so much that they would choose a certain death in the cold over the safety of their tent? The trail continued for nearly a mile before vanishing under the snow. The first 2 bodies were found at the edge of the forest, beneath a large, old cedar tree. Yuri Krivonyshenko, Yuri Doroshenko. Nearby were the scattered remains of a small fire. It seemed they had fought to stay warm. Branches were broken, as if someone had tried to climb it, perhaps to see the tent. They had died of hypothermia, dressed only in their underwear. Over the next 2 months, the rest of the bodies were found, some between the cedar and the camp, as if they had tried to return. Igor Dyatlov was one of them. He was found clutching a birch branch, his face turned toward the tent. Then, in a snowy ravine deeper in the woods, the last 4 were discovered, and the mystery deepened. Over the years, many theories have tried to explain that night. The first and most accepted explanation is an avalanche. A slab of snow could have slid down onto the tent, trapping them inside. In a panic, they cut their way out, leaving some clothing behind, and ran to escape being buried alive. But the slope was less than 30 degrees, there was little avalanche debris, and the footprints were not chaotic. Forensics noted injuries not consistent with crushing, and no soft tissue damage. Some searchers saw no obvious signs of an avalanche. Another theory points to the Soviet military. The Urals hosted secret weapons tests. A bright light, a concussive blast, or even a nerve agent, could have driven them into panic. Radioactive traces on some clothing seemed to support this. A blast could explain the crushing injuries. The case's quick, quiet closure only fuels suspicion. The official investigation was closed. The cause of death was listed as a compelling natural force, a phrase that explains nothing, yet hints at everything. The files were classified. For decades the story was a whisper, a ghost story told around campfires. Today the pass bears Dyatlov's name, a memorial, a warning, a question mark on the map. The case has reopened, documents released, modern science applied, yet no definitive answer. We see them in our mind's eye, cutting their way out, running barefoot into the darkness, huddling by a dying fire. Snow covers the footprints of the past. The wind still moves like a great animal across the slope. The mountain waits, patient and eternal. What truly happened on that cold night on the slopes of Dead Mountain?